Hello students, this is Sachin Pandey and I welcome you all in my YouTube channel. Today I am back with another very interesting poem by A.K. Ramanujan, which is in the syllabus of BA third year of Allahabad University, Love Poem for a Wife Part 1. I repeat, Love Poem for a Wife Part 1 by A.K. Ramanujan. My dear students, in today's video session, I will be unraveling line by line explanation, detailed explanation of this poem, important questions and answers. You will not have any confusion, but it's my earnest request to each and every one of you that please sit with your book, because without book, it is useless to study. So I want you all have to open your books and rough copy so that when I start giving line by line explanation, stanza wise explanation, you all can note down the important things, important words, important phrases, and you all can prepare your own notes. Later on, you will not have any problem in your examination. So, before I start explaining this poem, it's my duty to tell you something about A.K. Ramanujan. A.K. Ramanujan was a great scholar, was a great Indian poet, a renowned Indian poet or a prolific poet. In the context of Indian poetry in English, whenever we study Indian poetry in English and when we hear the term versatile genius, whenever we read a term, think about a term versatile genius, the name of A.K. Ramanujan immediately springs to one's mind. It automatically comes into our mind. There is no doubt that A.K. Ramanujan was a multifaceted personality, multifaceted genius. Why did I use this word multifaceted? He was a polyglot. Polyglot. He knew Tamil, which was his mother tongue, Kannada, English, Telugu, Sanskrit, and perhaps a little bit of Hindi also. A.K. Ramanujan was a poet, a prose writer, a diary writer, a translator, a reviewer, a folklorist. He composed several folklores also. A linguist, a scholar, a traveler, a teacher, and what not. So with this you can understand that he was a versatile genius, a multifaceted personality. He belonged to a well-bred, as I said, well-bred Brahmin family of Mysore. Typical and traditional Brahmin family. He was born in a very traditional Brahmin family. And later on, he married to Molly Daniels, who was a Syrian Christian. She was also a writer. But at that time, Ramanujan did not know that it would be a failure of marriage. Later on, the couple got separated. He divorced his wife. Then they again got reunited. He married his wife again and again got separated. His married life was full of sour experiences. It was not a successful married life. It was not a worth cherishable life. My dear students, when we look at this title, it's a quite humorous title, funny title. If you dive into the depth of this title, Love Poem for a Wife 1. What is humor? What is humorous in this? A person can write poems for his beloved, to whom he loves, to whom he admires, but writing love poem for a wife is quite rare. It's really unbelievable. So, first of all, we will discuss the significance of title, importance of title. Love poem for a wife. What is love? Now the question comes, what is love? In present context, love is misinterpreted, misunderstood. But I believe that love is an intense feeling, strong feeling of deep affection, respect, admiration. But in modern days, in present context, it is misinterpreted. Nowadays, it includes romance, lust, betrayal. Love should be pure. It should include caring and sharing. It is a profound feeling of strong affection. This poem, love poem for a wife, one, which is an important poem, which is in the syllabus of the Allahabad University BA third year, and questions are certainly asked from this poem, reference to context or long answer type questions, and this poem was one of the early poems of A.K. Ramanujan, and it's very interesting poem. Why it is interesting, I would tell you. I hope you have understood the very first word, love, which should be pure, which should be profound, which should include deep affection, admiration and respect. Poem. What is a poem? What is poetry? Which is organized in stanzas, which has diction, which has meter, which is full of figurative languages. That is a poem. And wife, a spouse. We can call a spouse. So I hope you have understood this much portion. In this poem, the poet A.K. Ramanujan expresses his profound love for his wife. Love, as I defined it more practically, but you must know one more thing, that the life of A.K. Ramanujan was full of problems. As I told you that he got married to Molly Daniels, who was a Syrian Christian. You can call it his own revolution, that a person who belonged to a well-bred Brahmin family, he marries to a girl who belongs to another religion. And later on, his life became full of problems. And A.K. Ramanujan is an ironical poet. He is famous for his irony. His poems are loaded with irony. Why did I say this? Ironical poet. Most of his poems, they are loaded with irony, because every word he used has ironical sense. Every word he used is its meaning. When he says something, its meaning is totally its opposite. Writing a love poem for a wife is very hilarious. And the opening lines, when we come to the very first stanza of this poem, if you see the opening line, he is recalling the sour experiences which he had with his wife. And the very, first stanza, it has marvelously opening irony. It is full of irony. Whatever he writes, whatever he says, its meaning is totally its opposite. He divorced his wife, Molly Daniels, not once, but twice. So, A.K. Ramanujan can be referred to as one of the greatest ironists. He was one of the greatest ironists. My dear students, now we will come to line by line explanation. We will come to stanza wise explanation, and I hope you are listening to me with rapt attention. Let's come to the very first. Please open your rough copy as well as pen also, so that you can note down the important things when I tell you something. The very first stanza, really what keeps us apart at the end of years is unshared childhood. You cannot, for instance, meet my father. He is some years dead, neither can I meet yours. He has lately lost his temper, has mellowed. See the very first line, which has marvelously opening, which is marvelously, ironical. Opening lines are really ironical. The poet is recalling all those bad experiences, sour experiences, that how they got separated. Really, what keeps us? Who is us? Husband and wife. The poet and his wife. Apart is separated. As I told you, the poet divorced his wife not once, twice. There was no mutual understanding between them. No understanding. No feeling of caring and sharing between them. So what keeps us apart? What keeps us separated? The poet is saying, really, what has separated us? What has made us apart? We are living a separated life. Why? What has separated us? At the end of years is unshared childhood. Please underline this word, unshared childhood. The poet married to a girl of a different religion, Molly Daniels, who was a Syrian Christian. They had a different religion, different background. That is why there was nothing common between the two. They had unshared childhood. What is unshared childhood? Neither the husband shared about his childhood to his wife, nor the wife shared about her childhood to her husband. They never shared their childhood to each other, to one another. The main reason of the failure of their marriage was their unshared childhood. They knew nothing about each other. There was a gap between them, chasm, C-H-A-S-M. There was a chasm between the two. There was unshared childhood. They wanted to know. The husband wanted to know about the childhood of his wife, and the wife wanted to know about the childhood of her husband. But they never shared. So it was unshared childhood that became the reason for the failure of their marriage. You cannot, because you cannot share. You cannot, for instance, the poet says, the poet is saying to his wife, you cannot, for instance, for example, meet my father. The poet is telling his wife that she could not meet her father-in-law. Father-in-law means father of the poet. Wife could not meet the father of her husband because he was no more. He was already dead. Whose father has been referred over here? Father of A.K. Ramanujan. Father of the poet. My dear students, I will tell you another important thing. The father of A.K. Ramanujan, A.A. Krishna Swami Iyengar. I repeat, A.A. Krishna Swami Iyengar was a great scholar. was a great teacher of mathematics, professor of mathematics in Mysore University. Professor of mathematics in Mysore University, who was no more. So his wife could not meet her father-in-law. Neither can I meet yours. The poet also regrets that neither she could meet his father nor he could meet her father. They could not meet their father-in-laws. The poet also could not meet his father-in-law, means the father of his wife. He is some years dead, neither can I meet yours. Now the poet describes some qualities of his wife's father. His wife's father means his father-in-law was a short-tempered person, bad-tempered person. He has lately lost his temper. Sometimes it happens due to old age, people lose their temperament. So, his wife's father was a short-tempered person, but now, please underline this word, but now he has mellowed. Mellowed, now he is little bit transformed. Mellowed, he has become soft. He has softened his temper. He has changed his attitude. I explain the very first stanza once again. In this poem, the poet is reminiscing. He is in a reminiscent mood. थोड़ा नॉस्टैल्जिक है, रेमिनिसिंग मूड में है. Nostalgia, he is recalling his past, he is in the reminiscing mood. He broods over, he thinks over, he ponders over his emotional, physical, emotional separation, alienation with his wife, whom he married long ago. And the poet says that years have passed of their married life, but they knew nothing about each other. They are totally unknown. There is a chasm between the two. There is a kind of unfamiliarity between the two. This has alienated them. This has become the reason of their separation, and that's why there is a monotony, gloom in their relationship. They don't have much knowledge about each other, about each other's background, as they belong to different religion, different background. Poet's father, who is already dead, who is no more, and his wife's father, who was initially in early stages of his life, who was ill-tempered, short-tempered, bad-tempered, but now he has softened his temper, he has mellowed. So my dear students, I hope you have understood the first stanza, and I can move to the second stanza. In the transverse midnight gossip of cousins' reunions among brandy fumes, cashews, and the absences of grandparents, you suddenly grow nostalgic for my past, and I envy your village dog ride and mythology of 7 craggy ants. Again in second stanza, the poet is brooding over, pondering over his physical and emotional separation with his wife. The poet narrates various incidents about the early years of his married life. The poet is describing several various incidents about the early stages of his married life. वो कौन सी इंसिडेंट्स थी जिनको पोएट याद कर रहा है कि कैसे वो पल कैसे थे, वो दिन कैसे थे जो उसने बिताए थे. वही रेमिनिसिंग मूड, वही नॉस्टैल्जिया, वही रेमिनिसिंग इवनिंग्स, नॉस्टैल्जिक इवनिंग्स कैसी थी देखो. In the transverse, please underline this word transverse. Transverse means lying across, इधर उधर, lying across. Midnight gossip, कि कैसे हम लोग रात भर बातें करते थे। मिडनाइट गॉसिप, मिडनाइट गॉसिप, यू नो, लाइट गॉसिपिंग, conversations, all kinds of conversations during the midnight that he used to have with his wife. The poet is recalling all those gossips. कैसी gossips होती थी, किनके बारे में होती थी? In the transverse midnight gossip, the poet is remembering, he is reminiscing those evenings, those midnight gossips when he used to be with a number of his cousins, family members. All the cousins, all the family members, they used to meet together. They used to sit together and they used to keep gossiping. They kept gossiping. तरह तरह की बातें सब करते थे, पूरे परिवार के लोग मिलते थे, उठते थे, बैठते थे, सारे कजिन्स आते थे एंड सब बातें करते थे. द पोएट इज रिकॉलिंग, वो बातें याद कर रहा है. और उस गॉसिपिंग में होता क्या, कैसे गॉसिप्स होती थी, वो गॉसिप्स कैसे होती थी? ड्यूरिंग देयर गॉसिपिंग, ड्यूरिंग द funny conversations, brandy fumes. Brandy, what is brandy? Wine. Wine you must be knowing. Fermented fruit juice, liquor. It can be called as a fermented fruit juice. वो पार्टीज जो होती थी, गॉसिप्स किसके साथ होती थी? कजिन्स के साथ तो होती थी, बट और भी चीजें होती थी. दे यूज टू सिप ब्रांडी, वाइन. और वाइन भी किससे? अलॉन्ग विद कैश्यू नट्स, किडनी शेप्ड कैश्यू नट्स, along with brandy fumes, cashews, and absences of, please underline, absences of means they could freely enjoy their gossips, they could freely enjoy their life because their grandparents were not with them. Their grandparents, their elders were not present at that time. Sipping brandy or wine in the presence of parents is almost impossible. उनकी प्रेजेंस में ऐसे काम नहीं कर सकते. उस समय पेरेंट्स, ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स नहीं होते थे और ये लोग क्या करते थे? गॉसिपिंग करते थे, लिकर के साथ, वाइन के साथ, कैश्यू नट्स के साथ एंजॉय करते थे अपनी लाइफ को. इन द एब्सेंसेस ऑफ ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, grandparents who were no more, who were already dead, there was no one. This line clearly says, in the absences of grandparents. What does this line indicate? That there was no one to interfere in their liberty, in their freedom. There was nobody to poke their nose into their affairs. Their grandparents were no more. At these meetings, whenever these meetings were held, gossiping होती थी, सब अपनी अपनी चीजों को शेयर करते थे, वाइन के साथ, कैश्यू नट्स के साथ एंजॉय करते थे और अपनी अपनी बातों को शेयर करते थे. At that time, his wife used to become curious. देखो, you refers to poet's wife. लिखते चलिएगा अंडरलाइन करके. During those meetings, during those gossips, you suddenly grow nostalgic. His wife used to become curious, nostalgic for my past. At that time, she wanted to know about the past of her husband. During those meetings, she wanted to know the details of her husband, details, each and every details of her husband's past life. And I envy you. Envy, hate. मुझे भी किससे नफरत हो? तुम मेरे बारे में जानना चाहती थी, मैं तुम्हारे बारे में जानना चाहता था. और मुझे किस बात से जलन होती थी, मुझे किस बात से एनवी होती थी जब तुम बताती थी उस इंटॉक्सिकेटेड कंडीशन में, ब्रांडी की इंटॉक्सिकेटेड कंडीशन में जब तुम बताती थी योर विलेज डॉग राइड. प्लीज अंडरलाइन डॉग राइड. यहां पर डॉग राइड का मतलब यह नहीं है कि आप किसी डॉग के ऊपर बैठ करके जा रहे हो. डॉग राइड का मतलब यह होता है कि सपोज यू आर गोइंग समवेयर, आप मार्केट जा रहे हो, सपोज आपको मार्केट जाना है और अपने आप बेस्ट फ्रेंड से बोलते हो कि आई एम गोइंग टू मार्केट, विल यू अकम्पनी मी टू डॉग्स राइड. Will you also accompany me to, will you also join me for a dog's ride? Are you interested? मतलब कोई आपको जब accompany करता है तो it can be called dog's ride. तुम किसी के साथ, फ्रेंड के साथ, रिलेटिव के साथ जब तुम बताती थी कि तुम मार्केट जाती थी तो मुझे जलन होती थी, मुझे एनवी होती थी कि whenever you narrated your experiences, whenever his wife narrated her own experience about her dog's rides, whenever she went somewhere for some errand, some work, और क्या बताती थी? And the mythology of 7 crazy aunts. 7 crazy aunts. Please underline. Poet's wife used to narrate stories of her 7 crazy aunts. She had 7 aunts and they all were mad. They all were crazy aunts. सारी की सारी मैड थी. जब उसकी वाइफ बताती थी अपनी फैमिली के बारे में, अपनी क्रेजी आंट्स के बारे में, सो पोएट को बड़ी एनवी होती थी एट दैट टाइम. ही यूज्ड टू एनवी, he could not tolerate the invented stories which his wife was narrating about the 7 crazy aunts. थोड़ा सा उसको एनवी फील होता था. आई होप स्टैंजा क्लियर हो रहा है कि हाउ द पोएट इज ब्रूडिंग ओवर, रेमनेसिंग ओवर the memories of his early married life. कि whenever all the friends, all the cousins, they used to meet each other, they met each other, they used to involve in various kind of gossips, they used to enjoy their life, they used to take wine with cashews in the absences of their grandparents who were not alive, who were already dead, who were no more. There was no elder in the family to interfere in their personal affairs. उस समय लोग अपनी अपनी चीज़ों को शेयर करते थे. उसकी वाइफ पोएट के बारे में बहुत कुछ जानना चाहती थी और अपने बारे में बताती थी, अपनी 7 क्रेजी ऑन्ट्स के बारे में बताती थी. तो पोएट को बड़ी एनवी होती थी कि जब वो किसी डॉग राइड के लिए, एंजॉय के लिए कहीं जाती थी तो पोएट को बड़ा एनवी फील होता था. You begin to recognize me as I pass from ghost to real. Another important line, you begin to, poet's wife used to become more curious about his past, about the realities, about his childhood. She was also engaged in the conversation and wanted to know about the personal life of her husband, past life of her husband. You begin, you refers to wife. You begin to recognize me as I pass from ghost to real and back again in the albums of family rumors. Please underline. Albums of family rumors. सारे के सारे कजिन्स इकट्ठे होते थे, सब अपनी अपनी बातें करते थे, अपने अपने बारे में शेयर करते थे. कैसे? एल्बम्स. My dear students, album can be called a book of photographs. शायद आपको यही समझ में आया होगा कि एल्बम क्या है? अ बुक ऑफ फोटोग्राफ्स. लेकिन यहां पर देखो एक मेटाफर यूज किया गया. मेटाफोरिकली द पोएट यूजेस ब्यूटीफुल मेटाफर. यहां पर किसी फोटोग्राफ का एल्बम नहीं है, एल्बम्स ऑफ फैमिली रूमर्स, उन स्टोरीज के एल्बम. सब अपनी अपनी स्टोरीज शेयर करते थे तो उन स्टोरीज की एक एल्बम बन जाती थी, एक कलेक्शन बन जाता था. एक कजिन ने अपनी स्टोरी बताई, दूसरे ने अपनी स्टोरी बताई, पोएट ने अपनी स्टोरी बताई, वाइफ ने अपनी स्टोरी बताई. तो एक ये कलेक्शन बनता था, एल्बम बनता था. किसका? स्टोरीज का, रूमर्स का. रूमर्स का मतलब जितनी भी चीजें कहते हो आप, इंसिडेंट्स का, उन सारी इंसिडेंट्स का एक एल्बम क्रिएट हो जाता था. सब अपने अपने एल्बम्स को शेयर करते थे. एल्बम ऑफ स्टोरीज, एल्बम्स ऑफ देयर पास्ट. Back again in the albums of family rumors, in brothers' anecdotes. Anecdotes, real story of a person, because everybody was sharing the real story of his or her own life. So during the gossiping, during the gossiping, during the meeting, there used to be an album of all those rumors, all those incidents, all those anecdotes. Everybody used to narrate stories, real experiences. In the brothers anecdotes of, उसमें एक स्टोरी बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग होती थी जब बताते थे how noisily father bathed. You used to remember how noisily father bathed. Poet's father, whenever he used to take a bath, he used to make a lot of noise. किस तरह के noise होते थे? पोएट की वाइफ याद कर रही है उन एनेक्डोट्स के एल्बम में से बहुत सारे इंसिडेंट्स हैं. वन ऑफ द इंसिडेंट इज दैट हाउ पोएट्स फादर यूज्ड टू क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ नॉइज ड्यूरिंग हिज बाथ, while taking a bath, while rubbing soap on his back. कैसे वो साबुन को अपने शरीर पर लगाते थे तो कितना शोर आता था, कैसा शोर होता था. तो she is remembering this. Slapping soap, alliteration भी यूज हुआ है SS. Slapping soap on his back, find sources of a familiar sheep mouth look. Find sources of a familiar sheep mouth look in a sepia wedding pictures of a father in turban. Here in this line, the poet is discussing about a photograph of his marriage. In that photograph, the poet is standing and he is giving a very embarrassed expression. Whenever they discussed about that photograph, that group photograph, in that photograph, poet had sheep mouth look. Sheep mouth look, it is a phrase which refers to embarrassed look, foolish explanation. Nowadays, people are fond of taking selfies, but at that time, selfies were not common. Cameras were of not good quality. और उस समय जब लोग फोटो खिंचाने जाते थे तो थोड़ा सा एम्बैरस्ड हो जाते थे, कुछ हेजिटेट करते थे, कई बार तो फुलिश एक्सप्रेशंस दे देते थे. यहाँ पर उसी फोटोग्राफ की बात हो रही है. कोई वेडिंग की फोटोग्राफ है जिसमें फादर भी हैं, पोएट भी हैं, एंड इन दैट फोटोग्राफ द पोएट इज गिविंग अ शीप माउथ लुक. ही इज गिविंग अ वेरी फुलिश एंड एम्बैरस्ड एक्सप्रेशन. और फोटोग्राफ कैसी है देखो, इट इज नॉट अ कलरफुल फोटोग्राफ. Very important word, my favorite word, sepia wedding picture. Sepia. आप अगर अपने ग्रैंडफादर के टाइम के फोटोग्राफ्स आप देखिए तो सीपिया फोटोग्राफ्स होती थी. सीपिया का मतलब रेडिश ब्राउन आप कह सकते हो. रेडिश ब्राउन आप या कह सकते हो ब्लैक एंड वाइट फोटोग्राफ्स. रेड और ब्राउन का मिक्सचर होता था वो. जो ब्लैक एंड वाइट फोटोग्राफ्स पहले के ज़माने में होती थी उनको सेपिया ब्राउन फोटोग्राफ्स कहा जाता था. तो उस जमाने की फ़ोटोज़ थी, ब्लैक एंड वाइट फोटोग्राफ्स थी, जिसमें पोएट कैसा एक्सप्रेशन दे रहा है. द पोएट वॉज गिविंग अ वेरी एम्बैरस्ड एंड फुलिश एक्सप्रेशन. थोड़ा हेजिटेट कर रहा है, सहमा सा है. फादर कैसे हैं देखो, पोएट के फादर भी उसमें हैं. कौन से फादर? पोएट्स फादर, एज आई टोल्ड यू ऑल, A. Krishna Swami Iyengar, who was a mathematics professor in Mysore University. वो जब अपने कॉलेज या यूनिवर्सिटी जाते थे टर्बन पहन के जाते थे. ब्राह्मण फैमिली से बिलोंग करते थे, टर्बन लगा करके वो यूनिवर्सिटी जाते थे. फोटोग्राफ में भी देखिए कैसे हैं. वेडिंग पिक्चर ऑफ अ फादर इन टर्बन. पोएट्स फादर, ही इज सिटिंग. थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट मैं आपका और क्लियर कर दूं. अपने ग्रैंडफादर के टाइम में अगर आप अपने फोटोग्राफ्स को देखिए, अपने दादाजी वगैरह की फोटोग्राफ जिसमें आपके दादा और दादी एक साथ हों, तो अक्सर आपने ज़रूर नोटिस किया होगा कि दादाजी बैठे रहते थे चेयर पर और दादी साइड में खड़ी रहती थी. पुराने ज़माने में जो फोटोग्राफ्स खींची जाती थी, कुछ ऐसी फ़ोटो है वो सीपिया, रेडिश ब्राउन, ब्लैक एंड वाइट काइंड की फोटोग्राफ्स है. फादर इज सिटिंग इन द चेयर. पोएट्स फादर, ही इज वेयरिंग टर्बन. He is sitting in the chair and mother standing on her bare splayed feet, and his mother, poet's mother, standing beside his father in her splayed feet. Splayed when heels are joined, toes are apart, toes apart होते हैं, खड़े होने की एक पोजीशन। आपने नेशनल एंथम वगैरह में देखा, जब आप करते हो तो कैसे खड़े होते हो, योर टोज आर अपार्ट, हील्स आर ज्वाइंड। सो वो साइड में खड़ी हैं एंड फादर इज सिटिंग इन द चेयर। फिर से क्लियर कर दे रहा हूं, मदर इज स्टैंडिंग, शी हैज नो फुटवेयर, शी इज नॉट वेयरिंग, बेयर फीट है, शी इज नॉट वेयरिंग एनी फुटवेयर, शी हैज नो फुटवेयर, शी इज स्टैंडिंग with her splayed feet, toes are apart toes हैं, and she is wearing silver rings on her second toe. Toe is finger of the foot. Poet's mother is wearing silver rings on her second toe. Let me tell you, in typical and traditional Indian culture, married women, अगर आपने अपनी माँ को भी देखा होगा तो आपकी माँ भी अपने पैर की जो सेकेंड टो है उसमें सिल्वर का कोई ना कोई ऑर्नामेंट जरूर पहनती होंगी, विच सिंबलाइजेज मैरिटल स्टेटस, दैट द वुमन इज मैरिड। सिल्वर ऑर्नामेंट ऑन द सेकेंड टो ऑफ अ वुमन symbolizes her marital status, that she is married. So poet's father is sitting in the chair, he is wearing beautiful turban, mother standing beside him with her splayed feet, and she is wearing a silver ornament, silver ring on her second toe, and reduce the entire career of my recent unique self. Career. Now the poet remembers his career because वो उस टाइम को याद कर रहा है जब वो इंडिया से यूएसए गया था पढ़ाई करने के लिए, करियर के लिए। पोएट लेफ्ट इंडिया एंड ही वेंट टू यूएसए। ही इज रेमिनिसिंग, ही इज रिमेंबरिंग दैट टाइम, reduce the entire career of my recent unique self to make his own identity, to make his own career. He moved to USA to the compulsion of some high sentence. Please underline very important word in his, H capital में है his refers to father. Is Malaysian diary, is Malaysian diary. अंडरलाइन करिए, थोड़ा मैं समझा दूं आपको। सैमुअल स्माइल्स, सैमुअल स्माइल्स वॉज अ ग्रेट स्कॉटिश राइटर, ग्रेट स्कॉटिश राइटर, ग्रेट सोशल रिफॉर्मर सैमुअल स्माइल्स। और उनका एक बहुत ही फेमस सेंटेंस था कि एक उन्होंने अपनी डायरी में एक बात लिखी थी, सैमुअल स्माइल्स ने, नोट कर भी सकते हो आप। He had written in his diary that social problems can be solved by changing your attitude. When you change your attitude, social problems can be solved. ये उन्होंने लिखा था, उनका ये फेवरेट सेंटेंस था, social problems can be solved by changing your attitude. Poet's father strongly believed in this. अपनी डायरी में उन्होंने ये बात लिखी थी, अपनी मलेशियन डायरी में। मतलब आप ऐसे भी कह सकते हो, पोएट्स फादर वॉज ग्रेटली इंस्पायर्ड बाय द स्कॉटिश रिफॉर्मर सैमुअल स्माइल्स, जिनका ये बिलीव था कि सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स कैन बी सॉल्व्ड व्हेन यू चेंज योर परसेप्शन, व्हेन यू चेंज योर एटीट्यूड। तो पोएट के फादर एक डायरी मेंटेन करते थे और अपनी डायरी में इन सब बातों को लिखते थे। पोएट के ऊपर भी एक प्रेशर था कि उसको अपना करियर बनाना है। ही मूव टू यूएसए कुछ हाई पोजीशन के लिए, सोसाइटी में रिस्पेक्ट पाने के लिए, कुछ करने के लिए। ही वेंट टू यूएसए टू परस्यू हिज करियर। एंड पोएट्स फादर, यहां पर बेटा कहीं ना कहीं आप ऐसे भी कह सकते हो, पोएट के फादर जो थे, ही वॉज फॉन्ड ऑफ राइटिंग डायरी। और जो लोग इस थॉट में यकीन करते हैं, कौन सा थॉट? जो सैमुअल स्माइल्स ने दिया कि सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स कैन बी सॉल्व्ड व्हेन यू चेंज योर एटीट्यूड, बाय चेंजिंग योर एटीट्यूड। जो लोग इसमें यकीन करते हैं, इसको सपोर्ट करते हैं, दे आर कॉल्ड दे हैव, आप ऐसे भी कह सकते हो कि दे हैव इस्मैलेशियन एटीट्यूड। जैसे भी मैं कहूं आई हैव इस्मैलेशियन एटीट्यूड, यानी मेरे अंदर कैसा एटीट्यूड है, इस्मैलेशियन एटीट्यूड है, मतलब मैं बिलीव करता हूं कि सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स कैन बी सॉल्व्ड बाय चेंजिंग योर एटीट्यूड। पोएट के फादर भी he vehemently supported this idea and he also maintained his diary. I hope this stanza is clear. पोएट ने सबसे पहले एक पॉइंट टू बी नोटेड, पोएट ने सबसे पहले अपनी बात की कि हाउ फॉर मेकिंग हिज करियर ही मूव्ड टू यूएसए फ्रॉम इंडिया। फिर अपने फादर की बात करता है कि उसके हिज फादर, पोएट्स फादर was fond of maintaining and writing a diary. He had Ismailitian attitude. Now the poet talks about his wife's father. देखो, and your father, whose father is being referred to here? His wife's father. And your father gone irrevocable. मुझे पता है your father gone very strict due to old age. He had gone very firm, he had become very firm, very strict due to old age. There was no, his temper was not as soft as I thought due to old age. Your father gone irrevocable in age. Due to old age, he had become short-tempered. Due to old age, the poet is remembering how his wife's father, due to old age, how he had become short-tempered, how he had become ill-tempered. After changing every day your youth's evenings. Please, अब जो स्टैंजा आने जा रहा है, प्लीज इसको बहुत ध्यान से समझिएगा। The poet is reminiscing or recollecting his wife's father. He is recalling his wife's father, who was a man of very strict nature, who was a man of very firm nature. He was very strict. He was a man of moral sense, moral values. And due to old age, he had become more strict. और parents थोड़ा टेंस्ड तब हो जाते हैं जब उनके बच्चे उनके अकॉर्डिंग काम नहीं करते। पेरेंट्स ज़्यादा वरीड और एंशियस तब हो जाते हैं, इरिटेबल तब ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं, शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड तब ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं जब उनके बच्चे उनके अकॉर्डिंग काम नहीं करते। पोएट इज टेलिंग दैट ड्यूरिंग हर यूथ हिज वाइफ, she used to spend evenings according to herself, according to her own desire, which was not acceptable to her father. She lived her life as she wanted. The poet is telling about his wife, that his wife, she was the master of her own desires. She used to spend her evenings with her boyfriend. Her father had no control over her. That's why he had become more ill-tempered. He had become more tensed. देखिए लाइन आ रही है। After changing every day in your youth's evenings, he will acknowledge the wickedness of no reminiscence, no not the burning end of cigarette in the balcony, pacing to and fro as you came to the gate late. Poet's wife, she had an affair with a Muslim boyfriend. I repeat, poet's wife had an affair with a Muslim boy, and her father, he tried his best to convince, to tell his daughter not to do so. He tried his best. He put a lot of efforts to bring moral changes in his daughter, to convince his daughter to change her behavior and attitude and her conduct. Her father tried her father tried his best to bring moral changes, good values, good ethics, to change her attitude, but he could not do so. She had an affair with a Muslim boy. यहाँ पर मेंशन नहीं है, बट आप समझ पाएंगे कि एक फादर के लिए कितना पेनफुल रहा होगा कि जब देर रात वो लौटती थी अपने बॉयफ्रेंड्स के साथ घूम करके, लाइफ को एंजॉय करके, जब वो लौटती थी देर रात, किस तरह से फादर बालकनी में अपनी डॉटर का वेट करते रहते थे, टेंस्ड हो करके, टेंशन में, और एक के बाद एक सिगरेट पीते हुए. When does a person smoke? क्वेश्चन है, आदमी सिगरेट कब पीता है? स्मोकर्स, when do the smokers smoke? When they are more tensed, when they are worried, when they are mentally stressed. In order to avoid that mental stress, her father had become a chain smoker. He had become a chain smoker and he used to smoke in the balcony. He used to wait for his daughter. वो टू एंड फ्रो, एक पेंडुलम की तरह से टू एंड फ्रो टहलते रहते थे बालकनी में और स्मोक करते रहते थे. लाइन फिर से रिपीट कर रहा हूं क्योंकि उनकी डॉटर जो थी, ही न्यू द विकेडनेस, नॉटी नेचर, नॉटी एटीट्यूड. ही केप्ट ऑन वॉकिंग हियर एंड देयर. He used to smoke cigarette. He had become a chain smoker. In order to get rid of tension, in order to get rid of the mental stress, he used to smoke. And he used to wait for his daughter for several hours in the balcony, standing in the balcony while she was out with her boyfriend. It was not acceptable to a father. He kept on walking here and there. No, not the burning end of cigarette. In the balcony, pacing to and fro as you came to the gate late, because she arrived quite late. So father was mentally tensed. He was in a deep mental stress because he was unable to bring moral changes. Her father trusted whatever she said. Her father trusted, but his trust was betrayed. She betrayed his trust. After you thought was an innocent date, when she came late, जाहिर सी बात है फादर पूछेगा, where were you? Whenever you came late, father asked for explanation. And what explanation did you give? You gave very innocent explanation. तुम बहुत ही innocent explanation देती थी. After you thought was an innocent date, you told your father that you had gone for a date. What is date? Date is a romantic meeting. A romantic meeting between the couples, between the lovers. Whenever the father asked, you gave silly explanation, innocent explanation, and father believed. You pretended you had no regret of your activities. With a nice Muslim friend, you told your father that he's a nice guy, he's a nice boy. You tried upon asking, when the father asked for explanation, you explained by saying that he's a nice Muslim guy, he's a nice boy who only hinted at touches, who only hinted at touches, who had only amorous touch, amorous light touches. You told that he only touched you lightly. He's a very good boy, and you explained that you did not give complete liberty to your boyfriend that he can do anything with you. कि पापा आप डरते क्यों हैं? उसने कुछ नहीं किया, मैंने उसको इतनी फ्रीडम दी ही नहीं. Hinted at touches, I allowed him to touch me lightly only. Amorous touch, AMOROUS. He touched you amorously. This was the explanation given by his wife. Nice Muslim friend who only hinted at touches, that you did not give him complete liberty, and he only touched your body, her body, amorously and had gone no further. You did not give him complete freedom. The poet says that he recalls how his wife had an affair, a date with a Muslim friend, and that is why her father had become more short-tempered, more bad-tempered. Only 2 weeks ago in Chicago, you and your brother started. Now the poet remembers. अभी आप देखिए एक चीज, इनिशियल के स्टैंजाज में पोएट की वाइफ ने पोएट के बारे में सारी बातें की, उसके फादर के बारे में आप देखिए, फादर कैसे थे, ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स के टाइम में, वो सारी बातें की। अब पोएट अपनी वाइफ के बारे में याद कर रहा है कि किस तरह से ओनली 2 weeks ago in Chicago you and your brother James, who is you, poet's wife, पोएट को याद आ रहा है किस तरह से भाई बहन में झगड़ा हुआ था, how they had quarreled। क्वेरल और फाइट में क्या डिफरेंस है? जो मुंह से हो वो क्वेरल है, सिर्फ बातों की लड़ाई हो, बोल करके हो, क्वेरलिंग है। जब आप हाथ पैर का यूज करते हो तो फाइट हो जाती है। द पोएट इज नरेटिंग वन इंसिडेंट, हाउ हिज वाइफ एंड हर ब्रदर had a quarrel in Chicago, how the brother and sister had quarreled, and what was the cause of quarrel, what was the reason of quarrel. They were quarreling about where the bathroom was situated, about the bathroom, about the location of bathroom. The quarrel was all about the location of the bathroom. You and your brother James started one of your old drag out fights. Old drag out fights means quarrel. How you and your brother James is the brother of poet's wife, how they had started, how they had initiated a quarrel about where the bathroom was in the backyard, about the location of the bathroom, where the bathroom was located. The quarreling was all about where the bathroom was located in their grandfather's house. कि ग्रैंडफादर के घर में, ग्रैंडफादर घर कहाँ था अभी आएगा, एलिपी। एलिपी एक जगह है केरला में, केरला का एक प्लेस है कि हाउ and where the bathroom was located. The quarrel was about this. Bathroom was in the backyard, north or south of the well. Whether the quarrel was about whether the bathroom was located in the north of the well or south of the well. कुएं के नॉर्थ साइड में था या साउथ साइड में था, दोनों भाई बहन आपस में लड़ाई करते हैं। Next to the jackfruit tree in your father's house in Alleppey, a place in Kerala, where the bathroom was located, either it was located in the north side of the well, कुएं के north side में जहां पर jackfruit का tree था, near the jackfruit tree, or south of the well where there was a jackfruit tree. So they initiated a quarrel. Sister-in-law means James' wife. Sister-in-law means the wife of her brother. Sister-in-law and I were blank cutouts. I is the poet. भाई बहन में लड़ाई हुई, अब पोएट और जेम्स की वाइफ, पोएट की वाइफ और उसके भाई में लड़ाई हुई, बचे दो कौन, पोएट बचा और जेम्स की वाइफ, दोनों एकदम कटआउट की तरह। कटआउट मतलब जैसे एक आप कहते हो ना, जैसे कोई एक मूर्ति बन गए, मूर्ति की तरह उसको देख रहे थे, दोनों में लड़ाई चल रही है। They had become blank, the poet and James' wife, they had become blank cutouts. Cutouts क्या होती हैं? आप देखो इलेक्शन के टाइम में नेताओं के कटआउट्स लगते हैं, कार्डबोर्ड के जो कार्डबोर्ड से बनाए जाते हैं, उनकी इमेज को काट करके कहीं ना कहीं लगा दिया जाता है, खड़े करके कटआउट्स होते हैं, ब्लैंक कटआउट्स। मतलब दे वर शॉक्ड व्हेन ब्रदर एंड सिस्टर स्टार्टेड क्वारलिंग, द पोएट एंड जेम्स वाइफ वर शॉक्ड। दोनों लड़ाई शुरू कर देते हैं कि वेयर वॉज द बाथरूम, वेदर इट वॉज नॉर्थ ऑफ द वेल नियर द जैकफ्रूट ट्री और साउथ ऑफ द वेल ऑफ द जैकफ्रूट ट्री इन द ग्रैंडफादर्स हाउस इन एलएपी। कहां पर था? पोएट भी शॉक्ड था, जेम्स की वाइफ भी शॉक्ड थी। सिस्टर इन लॉ एंड आई वर ब्लैंक कटआउट्स fitted to our respective slots in the room. They were standing in the room silently. They were speechless. They could not understand what is going on. They had become blank cutouts. They were shocked. Statue बन गए थे। कटआउट होते हैं स्टैचू, कार्डबोर्ड के स्टैचू। सेम उसी तरीके से पोएट और जेम्स की वाइफ भी स्टैचू बन करके देख रहे थे। मतलब they could not interfere. Really nowhere as the two of you got down. After that incident क्या हुआ? After quarreling, both of you got down. Brother and sister went down. Really nowhere as the two of you got down to the floor to draw blueprints of a house from the memory on everything. झगड़े के बाद भी शांत नहीं हुए आप लोग। नीचे जा करके you started drawing the blueprint. Blueprint क्या होता है? प्लान। समझाने लगे एक दूसरे को, देखो ये घर था, इस जगह पे ये था। मतलब you started drawing a map कि where each and everything was located, just to convince each other, just to make sure whether the bathroom was situated in the north of the well or south of the well. After the quarreling, both of you went down. पहले दोनों में झगड़ा हुआ, लड़ाई हुई, उसके बाद दोनों नीचे जाते हैं और एक पेज पर ड्रॉ करने लगते हैं। देखो ये घर का नक्शा है, इस जगह पे ये था, इस जगह पे ये। They started drawing. They started to prove, they tried their best to prove who was right, कि मैं सही हूं, I am right, I am right. The two of you got down to the floor to draw blueprints of a house from memory, whatever you both remembered. क्योंकि बहुत पहले की बात थी। कई बार ऐसा नहीं होता कि हम लोग जब बड़े हो जाते हैं तो पुरानी बातों को याद करके कि वो दादाजी का वहाँ पे घर था, उस घर में इस जगह पर किचन होता था, तो भाई ने कहा नहीं उस जगह पे नहीं था, उस जगह पे किचन था। भाई बहन लड़ाई हो गई, नहीं मुझे अच्छे से याद है, उसने बोला नहीं मुझे अच्छे से याद है, दोनों में क्वारलिंग हो गई। तो दोनों आपस में मैप ड्रा, देखो घर ऐसा था ना, इस जगह पे ये था, इस जगह पे ये था। सो दे स्टार्टेड टू ट्राई देयर बेस्ट कि वेयर द bathroom was located. Blueprints of a house from the memory on everything, from newspapers to the back of the envelopes, and road map to United States. That happened by drawing the road maps, proper drawing, you started making proper, both of you started drawing the proper blueprint where it was actually located, road and other things of the house. To flap in the room in the midnight wind, you wager. Please underline. झगड़ा तो हुआ, लड़ाई तो हुई, but you wagered. You, poet's wife, तुमने वेजर किया। वेजर का मतलब बेट लगा ली। You betted, you wagered. Check the pronunciation. वेजर, वेजर मीन्स होता है बेट। आर्ग्यूमेंट में जब आप किसी से बेट लगाते हो तो उसको बोलते हैं वेजर। You wagered heirloom. Please don't say heirloom. It's heirloom. H is silent. Heirloom का मतलब होता है valuable property, precious things. कई बार होता है ना शर्त में, आप जब कोई चीज़ शर्त लगाते हो कहते हो ना अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो ये चीज़ हमारी हो जाएगी, तुम्हारी ये चीज़ मेरी हो जाएगी। सो पोएट की वाइफ ने अपने भाई से क्या शर्त लगाई, देखो क्या शर्त लगाई कि you wagered heirlooms and husband's earnings on what uncle in Kuwait would say about the bathroom. You totally depended कि if the uncle, poet's wife's uncle, was living in Kuwait, which is the capital of Iraq. So finally they betted, his wife wagered, she betted that कि they rest the matter for their uncle who lived in Kuwait, कि अंकल जो कह देंगे वही मानेंगे हम लोग, अंकल जो कह देंगे। And if proved wrong, the poet's wife decided to appoint her brother the heir of her husband total earning. अगर मैं हार गई तो मेरे हस्बैंड की सारी प्रॉपर्टी तुम्हारी। क्या वेजर, क्या बेट लगा, देखो कि if I lose all the property of my husband will go to you, and if you proved wrong, your property will come to me. अगर मैं हार गई तो मेरे हस्बैंड की प्रॉपर्टी सारी तुम्हारी हो जाएगी. She wagered, she betted that if she lost, अगर मतलब फिर समझिएगा, she left the whole matter, the rest of the matter on her uncle who lived in Kuwait. कि whatever he will say, कि whether the bathroom was located in the north of the well or south of the well, uncle जैसा कह देंगे वही. If I lost all the property, all the heirlooms of my husband will go to you, and if you lost, means if her brother lost, all his property will come to her. She wagered this, ये wager किया उसने. The uncle in Kuwait would say about the bathroom and the well. अंकल जैसा कह देंगे किसके बारे में? About the bathroom, about the well, and please underline, अंकल जो कह देंगे वही मान लिया जाएगा. About the bathroom, location of the bathroom, well, and the dying, by now dead tree next to it. और उस पेड़ के बारे में. कौन सा पेड़? That jackfruit tree, जो शायद now either it has been dead or it is dying. या तो सूख गया होगा या तो सूख रहा होगा. अंकल जो भी कह देंगे about the bathroom, about the well and the tree, either it has dead or it is dying condition. It is in dying condition. Whatever would uncle say, she left the rest of the matter for their uncle who lived in Kuwait. I hope this stanza is clear. Now the very important stanzas, 2 stanzas, please समझ लीजिएगा. The last 2 stanzas are very important. अभी तक हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ ने एक दूसरे के बारे में, एक दूसरे के पास्ट के बारे में याद किया, रेमिनिस किया, ब्रूड किया. अब पोएट को बड़ा रिग्रेट फील हो रहा है. रिग्रेट किस चीज का? बिकॉज इट हैज बीन द फेलियर इन देयर मैरिज. उनकी शादी, मतलब द पोएट इज नॉट सेटिस्फाइड. हिज लाइफ हैज बिकम मोनोटोनस. इट हैज बीन अ मोनोटोनस मैरिड लाइफ. यहां पर पोएट 2 ट्रेडिशन को मेंशन कर रहा है कि शायद अगर ऐसा हुआ होता तो उसकी मैरिज सक्सेसफुल होती. उसकी मैरिज सक्सेसफुल इसलिए नहीं है बिकॉज ही गॉट मैरिड टू अ गर्ल who had a different background, totally different background, totally different culture, which became a reason for the failure of their marriage. तो क्या होता चाहिए था? क्या होता? वो इमेजिन कर रहा है अगर ऐसा होता. The poet gives 2 references here. The poet is giving 2 references कि his marriage would have become successful if it had happened. अगर क्या होता तो he is giving the first reference of the Egyptian. वो इजिप्शियन का रेफरेंस दे रहा है. The people who lived in Egypt, Egyptians का, Egyptian people का. देखो probably वर्ड देखिए, मतलब कि probably my marriage would have become a successful one. शायद मेरी जो शादी थी वो सक्सेसफुल होती. कब? probably. Only the Egyptian had it right if it was based on Egyptian culture. It was based on Egyptian tradition, Egyptian rituals. क्या होता था? मैं आपको पहले कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर कर दूं कि इजिप्शियन कल्चर में ऐसा होता था कि जो किंग्स और प्रिंसेस होते थे, जो वहाँ के रिच लोग होते थे, वो ब्रदर्स और सिस्टर्स में ही मैरिज कर लेते थे. उनको ये लगता था कि अगर वो किसी और फैमिली से लड़की या लड़का ले आएंगे तो वो डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड का होगा और शायद वो सक्सेसफुल ना हो. और इस तरह से जो चीज़ है, जो प्रॉपर्टी है, जो हमारी कह सकते हो वेल्थ है, वो अपने ही घर में रहेगी. और सबसे बड़ी बात, अगर हम लोग सेम फैमिली में ब्रदर और सिस्टर में ही शादी करेंगे, दोनों की हैप्पीनेस ज़्यादा होगी क्योंकि दोनों एक दूसरे के बारे में अच्छे से जानते हैं, दोनों एक दूसरे के चाइल्डहुड के बारे में अच्छे से जानते हैं, दे वुड बी एबल टू शेयर देयर चाइल्डहुड। तो ऐसा वो करते थे इजिप्शियन लोग। तो पोएट कहीं ना कहीं उसी का रेफरेंस दे रहा है यहाँ पर, उसी कस्टम का कि इजिप्शियन, देखो यहाँ मैंने बताया कि द स्पीकर एंड हिज वाइफ दे केम फ्रॉम टू डिफरेंट वर्ल्ड्स, दे केम फ्रॉम टू डिफरेंट cultures, two different backgrounds, which was the reason of the failure of their marriage. He is giving the reference of Egyptians because Egyptians had established a culture, they had established a custom. क्या custom establish किया था Egyptians ने? That the kings and princes they used to marry their own sisters. देखो यहाँ लाइन आ रही, देखो, Egyptians had it right, their kings had sisters for queens. कि the person who is going to sit on throne, he should marry to his own sister. In this way, marriage was sure to prove successful because the prince or the king and his sister, after their marriage, they would be able to share their own childhood. पहले स्टैंजा में मैंने बताया था ना, पहली लाइन आई थी अनशेयर्ड चाइल्डहुड। पोएट ने वहीं पर सारी बात कह दी कि हमारी मैरिज की फेलियर का सबसे बड़ा कारण यही है, अनशेयर्ड चाइल्डहुड। तो यहाँ पर वो इजिप्शियन कल्चर का रेफरेंस दे रहा है कि इट वुड डेफिनेटली बी ए सक्सेसफुल बिकॉज दे बिलोंग टू सेम बैकग्राउंड एंड they would be able to share their childhood experiences। और सबसे बड़ी बात ये होगी कि sister and brothers will be the co-rulers as well as husband and wife। Sister and brother, they would become co-rulers also as well as husband and wife। और childhood का experiences तो share होगा ही। In this way, their tradition will be same, culture will be same, background will be same, and the throne would not be passed in the hands of foreigners। The throne will not go into the hands of alien powers। वो अपने ही घर में रहेगा। देखो लाइन पे आइए, Egyptians had it right, their kings had sisters for queens, they used to marry their own sisters and made them their queens to continue the incest। अंडरलाइन करिए incest word। Incest word is, you know, sexual relation, sexual satisfaction in blood relationship। Whenever people get sexual satisfaction, whenever people get sexual satisfaction in blood relationship, brother sister या blood relationship में जब ऐसा होता है, that is called incest। तो ऐसा होने पर देखो, they used to marry their own sisters to continue the incest, to establish a sexual relationship of childhood into marriage, or we should do as well as well meaning him। दूसरा रेफरेंस, आई होप पहला रेफरेंस किसका दिया, इजिप्शियंस का। नाउ सेकेंड रेफरेंस ही इज गिविंग, दो एग्जाम्पल्स दे रहा है वो कि हमारी मैरिज सक्सेसफुल तब होती जब हम इजिप्शियंस की तरह मैरिज करते, ठीक है, इंसेस्ट करते, रिलेशनशिप इस्टेब्लिश करते। या सेकंड रेफरेंस किसका दे रहा है, वेल मीनिंग हिंदूज का। वेल मीनिंग का मतलब एज आई सेड, कहीं ना कहीं देखो मैं बार बार रिपीट कर रहा हूं, ए के रामानुजन बिलोंग टू अ वेल ब्रेड ब्राह्मण फैमिली, तमिल फैमिली, बट ही मैरिड टू अ सीरियन क्रिश्चियन मॉली डैनियल्स विच वॉज अ रेवोल्यूशन ऑन हिज पार्ट। फैमिली के अगेंस्ट में, बियॉन्ड में जाकर के एक रेवोल्यूशन ही था उनका ये। तो सेकंड रेफरेंस किसका दे रहे हैं कि पहले के जमाने में क्या होता था, देखो, वेल मीनिंग हिंदूज डेज बेट्रोथ अस बिफोर बर्थ। पहले जमाने में क्या होता था, देखो, व्हेन द चाइल्ड वाज इन द वूम ऑफ हिज मदर, एट दैट टाइम पीपल यूज्ड टू मैरी देयर चिल्ड्रन। बच्चा भी माँ के वूम में ही है, गर्भ में ही है, तभी उसकी शादी कर देते थे। दे यूज टू मैरी, दे यूज टू, हिंदू मदर्स जो होती थी, दे यूज टू बेट्रोथ देयर, यू नो, बिफोर बर्थ। वो क्या करती थी, देखो, दे यूज टू मैरी देयर चिल्ड्रन फॉर इंस्टॉलिंग सेपरेट होरोस्कोप्स। आप ऐसे समझिए कि एट दैट टाइम मैरिजेस वर फिक्स्ड in mother's wombs, when the children were in mother's wombs only. ऐसा करके क्या मिलता था कि बच्चे पैदा होंगे, बड़े होंगे, बाद में होरोस्कोप मैच करे, कुंडली मैच किया नहीं की, जस्ट टू अवॉइड, वर्ड आया देखो फोरस्टॉलिंग. फोरस्टॉलिंग मीन्स प्रिवेंटिंग, अवॉइडिंग होरोस्कोप मैच. इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड होरोस्कोप मैच, मदर्स क्या करती थी? दे यूज टू बिट्रोथ. बिट्रोथ मीन्स फिक्स देयर मैरिज ऑफ देयर चिल्ड्रन बिफोर देयर बर्थ. When the child was in their womb, they used to fix their marriage. In this way, there was, nothing about horoscope match and all. In that case, horoscope match used to become useless. Betroth before birth, forestalling, preventing separate horoscopes and mother's first period. अपना पहला पीरियड आने के बाद ही, before their first period, wed us in the oral cradle. Cradle, पालने में ही शादी हो जाती थी. Before mother got the first period, menstrual cycle, when the child was in the cradle, they used to marry their children. यहाँ पर दो रेफरेंसेस, दो कस्टम्स की बात की गई. इजिप्शियन कल्चर, when kings or princes used to marry their sisters, जिससे अपने चाइल्डहुड एक्सपीरियंसेस को शेयर भी कर लेते थे, और उनका जो थ्रोन था किसी फॉरेन हैंड्स में भी नहीं जाता था, उन्हीं के घर में रहता था. दूसरा, जो हिंदू कस्टम में क्या होता था, जो वेल एजुकेटेड, वेल ब्रेड और वेल मीनिंग हिंदूज होते थे, जो मदर्स होती थी, दे यूज टू फिक्स देयर द मैरिज ऑफ देयर चिल्ड्रन व्हेन देयर चिल्ड्रन वर इन देयर वूम ओनली और इन द क्रैडल ओनली. बिफोर देयर फर्स्ट पीरियड दे यूज टू मैरी देयर चिल्ड्रन. Carry marriage back into the namelessness of the childhood. In this way, the poet is also longing for the same marriage. The poet longs for, desires for this type of marriage. Either it should be based on Egyptian custom or culture or Hindu culture, tradition of marriage. If the poet's mother poet is also longing, if his mother had also done this when she was pregnant, during her pregnancy, if she had also done this, if she had given promise to some other pregnant woman, कि अगर जब मैं माँ के पेट में था उसी समय मेरी माँ ने किसी और दूसरी औरत से प्रॉमिस कर लिया होता कि देखो तुमको बेटी हुई या मुझे बेटा हुआ तो हम लोग इसी की एक दूसरे शादी कर देंगे. If she had done that, if she had given promise to some other woman, his marriage would have definitely proved a successful one. आज वो nameless marriage ना होती, childhood experiences को हम share कर पाते, it would have become definitely a successful marriage. कब? If his mother had also done the same thing which he is longing for. My dear students, I hope this beautiful poem by A.K. Ramanujan is crystal clear to each and every one of you, and you all can note down the important points and prepare your own notes. Very soon I will be back with another new chapter and the new poem. Till then, goodbye. Thank you so much.